Continuing on with this idea, I want to keep on thinking about energy consumption and power as it relates to these circuits. I want to choose a simple circuit. In this simple circuit, I'm just representing the load as just a resistor. This load could be anything. This could be a toaster, could be a light bulb, doesn't matter. We're just going to say that it's a load. And so we can measure the voltage across our load. We can measure the current flowing from our source through our load. And we could even measure how long we leave this circuit turned on for. And so we could come up with an equation for energy consumption, which we've used before, where the amount of energy exchanged is equal to V times I times delta T. This is an equation we've seen before. I'm going to call it equation 1 right now for this page's purposes. Equation 2 is something that we've seen before as well, where we say that power is equal to how much energy is consumed by the circuit divided by how much time goes by. And I'd like to say, hey, I've already got equation 1. Why don't I sub equation 1 into equation 2? Let's just see what happens here. If we do that, then we end up getting power is equal to, instead of delta E, I'm going to write V times I times delta T. But then in the denominator, I still have a delta T. So just to be clear what we just did there, we just subbed in VIT where the delta E used to be. We've taken equation 1, we subbed it into that location. And you notice that the time cancels out, delta T cancels out. That leaves us with power is equal to V times I. Now that's actually kind of useful, because if I want to know how much power is consumed by this resistor, by this load, I could measure the voltage and I could measure the current, and I could calculate what its power rating is, the rate at which it consumes energy, dissipates energy from the circuit. Now I want to throw out another equation. It's an equation that we've used before again. Call this Ohm's law. And if I rearrange this equation, I'm going to call it equation 4 primed, and I get it into the form I equals V divided by R. We've done this kind of rearranging of an initial equation before, but I got a reason for this. If I take that equation that I've just called equation 4 primed and I say sub 4 prime, no, just 4 rather, into equation 3, let's just deal with equation 4, not equation 4 primed just yet. If I sub equation 4 into equation 3, then I end up getting P is equal to, now instead of V, I'm going to write IR. And instead of I, I'm just going to write I guess. Now if I have IR times I, remember V is equal to IR, so I've got IR here, but IR times I, then the best way to simplify this is to just call it I squared R. I'm going to call this equation 5, but I might want to know this alternate equation for power, because this is power consumption by a load given current and resistance. Just coming up with other ways to calculate power based on what information we might know. We could also sub equation 4 primed into equation 5, which we just figured out. No, not equation 5. Let's do equation 3. Into equation 3, if we sub equation 4 primed into equation 3, there we go, back there, then instead we could end up saying, okay, instead of I, I'm going to write VR. So P equals, I'll write the V first, but instead of I, I'll write VR, V over R, I mean. And so that ends up giving us a P equals V squared over R. I'm going to put a box around that one as well, and I want to call that one equation 6. And this is a formula for calculating power consumption given resistance and electric potential difference. which of course is just the long way of saying voltage, but it's the formal way of saying it, so I've said it. Electrical potential difference. And so now we've got a whole mess of equations. We've got 6 equations, my goodness. And so it was a little bit of a derivation and substitution process, but let's just take stock of what we've got here on this page. We've got V is equal to I times R. That's just Ohm's law. We've got delta E is equal to V times I times delta T. We've got power is equal to energy over time. Now this is just the rate at which energy is consumed. Is used. Now, in the case of a generator, it would be the rate at which energy is produced by the generator. We also have V squared over R. We also have I squared times R. We also have V times I. And so the reason why we're doing this is to say that, yeah, we've got a lot of ready-to-use equations for calculating power and energy. Okay, so this is a system of nice equations that are all going to play nicely with our resistors. Now, the nice thing about each of these power values is that these powers all work with the circuits we've already been discussing. And so I want to draw a basic circuit here. And with this basic circuit here, I've got, I'll just make it be like 3 resistors in series just to keep it all nice and friendly. Back to the source. Not even going to bother putting a switch on it. I'm going to call this one resistor 1, 2, and 3. So 3 different loads. And I'm going to space out my values. I've got V1 equals, and I'm going to put a blank. I've got I1 equals, and I'm going to give this as 0.50 amps. I've got R1 equals, and I'll give this one as 2.0 ohms. I've got P1, that's the power consumed by that load. I'll leave that as a blank. I've got V2 equals, I'll leave this as a blank. I've got I2 equals, I'm going to leave this one as a blank. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of blanks here. R2 equals, I'll give you this one, 1.0 ohms. And then P2, power consumed by resistor 2, and I'll leave that as a blank. There's a lot that we don't know on this circuit. Resistor 3, load 3, V3, not going to tell you. I3, not going to tell you. I'll leave it as a blank. R3 is going to be 4.0 ohms. And then P3, again, I'm not going to tell you. This is a lot of stuff we have to figure out. Oh, I didn't even talk about the whole circuit. I am not going to tell you V total. I'm not going to tell you I total. I'm not going to tell you R total. And I'm definitely not going to tell you power total. And yet, it's almost like a crossword or a Sudoku or something like that. We should be able to solve all of these. This is all solvable. And so if you want to pause right now, if you're watching the video, you can try and solve all of these yourself with your own logic. But I'm going to count it in, and then I'm going to solve it, okay? So I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. So this is how I would do it. Remember, this is just a straightforward series circuit. There's not multi-junctions here, but if it was multiple junctions, you would follow all the same sorts of rules. If current 1 is 0.5 amps, notice that the current does not branch off by the time it gets to resistor 2, and so it would still be 0.5 amps. Same thing would be true at resistor 3. It would still be 0.5 amps. And that means that the total current coming from that source must be 0.5 amps. Now, another thing that would be true is that Ohm's law is a thing. And so V1 equals I1 times R1. 2 times 0.5, 2 ohms, times 0.5 amps. 2 times 0.5 is 1, so 1.0 volts. P1 You actually are spoiled for choice. I have all these different formulas for calculating the power, but I'm just going to choose V times I because it seems easy to me. 1 times 0.5 times the current, 0.5 amps. 1 times 0.5 is 0.5 watts. 0.5 watts. And again, if you haven't paused already, now that I've done that thinking, if you want to pause now and you want to try and do it without me, you do it right now. Do it without me and then skip ahead in the video to see how this turns out. But here I am, I'm going to carry on to this resistor. If I know I2 and R2, that means that V2 is going to be equal to I2 R2, just using Ohm's law. And so I2 R2, 0.5 times 1 equals 0.5 volts. And then if I do V times I to get the power, 0.5 times 0.5, P2 is going to be equal to V2 I2, 0.5 volts times 0.5 amps is going to be 0.25 watts. Again, if you haven't paused already, pause now, feel free. But V3 is going to be equal to I3 times R3. 0.5 times 4 is going to be equal to 2 volts. 2 volts. And you know, I should check this to make sure that all these power equations are consistent with each other. I did V times I is 0.25. If I had used one of the other ones, like I squared times R, I squared is 0.25 times R is 1. 0.25 times 1 would have gotten me 0.25 as well. Check for consistency. Always question the system. Make sure that it really does work out. I guarantee you do V squared, 0.5 squared is going to be 0.25 divided by 1, also 0.25 watts. Doesn't matter. You're spoiled for choice here. That's the beautiful thing about this system. This system is beautiful. It's so complete. Anyway, power 3, hey, just for kicks, while on that note, why don't we do V squared divided by R? V squared is 2 volts. 2 volts divided, or square, 2 volts squared, that's important, divided by R, 4 ohms. 2 squared is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 watt. All right, that is 1 watt. And then just to check ourselves, remember, we could have done power is equal to V times I. And if we had, it would be 2 volts times 0.5. 2 times 0.5 would have still been 1. Okay? Internally consistent. Gorgeous. Now, we could do the same thing with this set of values up here. Hey, I know that I could say R total is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. So you remember that I said that this is 7 ohms, okay? But what I could have also done is come at it a different angle. And this is my other angle. So conservation of energy says this. Conservation of energy says that the total power consumed by the entire circuit is equal to the sum of power 1 plus power 2 plus power 3. Power consumed by the total is equal to the sum of the power consumed by the individuals. By the way, this equation is true for series junctions as well as parallel junctions. So this one's true for, it's a Kirchhoff's law kind of equation, and it's true for both series and parallel, and even mixed junction circuits. Okay, so I'm going to put it out there that this is actually, no pun intended, a powerful equation. But when I look at this, that means that if I already calculated power 1, power 2, and power 3, power 1 was 0.5 watts, plus power 2, 0.25, plus power 3, 1 watt, that's 1.75 watts. Now hear what I said once before. I said that the total should be R1 plus R2 plus R3, 2 plus 1 plus 4 should add up to 7. And so let's test this. We've just calculated the total power. We know the current. Let's see how this works out. We know that, and obviously I'm running out of space here because this is quite a chaotic little page that I've developed for myself. You should spread yourself out as much space as you need. But I know that P total is equal to V total times I total. And if what we just said is true, that P total is 1.75 and we already know I total, that means that V total would be equal to P total over I total. We can sub that in. P total is 1.75 watts. I total was equal to 0.5 amps. Do the math on this one. 1.75 divided by 0.5. Do it yourself. 1.75 divided by 0.5 gives us 3.5 or 3.5. Sorry if you can't see my calculator if the contrast is off. 3.5 volts. So I'm going to make a note of that. 3.5 volts. Remember, I predicted before this was going to turn into a 7. Right? Remember how this works out. I'm going to have to pull in a Post-it note, I think, just to make this be doable for us because I've run out of landscape here because I was trying to show an alternate way. If V is equal to IR, then V total is equal to I total times R total. And if I'm trying to find R total using Ohm's law, R total is equal to V total over I total. And by the way, as I'm doing this, if you're realizing that there was probably like 3 other ways to do this, you're absolutely right. There are lots of ways to get to this answer, and that's the beauty of this. You've got lots of different options. But V total was equal to 3.5 volts. I total was equal to 0.5 amps. 3.5 divided by 0.5, again, put it into your calculator. What it is, it's 7. 7 ohms, which is what I was predicting this was always going to be, 7.0 ohms. Beautiful. And so here we are, we've figured out how to use this new Kirchhoff's law style equation where we have Kirchhoff's law equations for current, voltage, and resistance for series junctions, also current, voltage, and resistance equations for parallel junctions, and now we have a power equation for a series junction, parallel junction, or even mixed junction circuits or multi-junction circuits. This is great. All right, so I'm going to leave this one with you, and I want you to check to see if the sum of all the powers of your circuit elements from circuits from your homework really do add up to the total power in the same way as this circuit does.